Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could join us once again. Well, this week here in my home state of Mississippi, kids are heading back to school, and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, are a big part of what they'll be experiencing. How can we be able to make it fun, as well as, of course, realize the impact of it, as well as how can FriXion be able to help us as well? We're excited to welcome back Phil Cook to our program today. You guys know him as a high school chemistry teacher, but also as a social media sensation who's been able to make learning fun. We're going to talk to Phil not only about what it's been like for him to share the importance of STEM, but also how FriXion pens are being able to help in a big way, especially through their new initiative, Million Degrees for Good. Phil, thank you again for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Cyrus.
You know, this was a lot of fun speaking with you last time, and I love being able to follow you on social media. First of all, Phil, what has it been like for you to make learning fun, not only for kids, but also adults too?
For me, that's the most rewarding part of being an educator, is seeing people, regardless of how old they are, just get engaged and curious about the world around them. For me, that's always been the selling point for me being a teacher.
As I mentioned, STEM is such a big part of education today. Of course, we're learning more and more about it. But have you noticed that now it's become more important for students to understand it and its impact in their lives?
It's always been important, but it's been increasingly important in the past few years. If you look at the job growth market, so where kids are going to be going into in terms of the job field, more than 50% of the emerging job growth is in a STEM-related field. So what that means for us is we need to make sure that kids are getting engaged early on when they're most curious in fields related to STEM and giving them those experiences that help to develop critical thinking and problem solving.
And that leads us right into FriXion. Now, I have to be honest with you, Phil. I knew nothing about FriXion before saying yes to the segment and having the opportunity to speak with you again. But I've now found out how popular FriXion pens are. So talk to us about that. What makes FriXion pens ideal tools for STEM learning?
A couple of things. First, they are the nerdiest science pen out there. They work like the best pen out there. But the reason why I think they're so cool is because of the thermosensitive erasable ink. So unlike a normal pen where once you write it, it's permanent, FriXion's thermosensitive erasable ink uses heat to make it erasable. And not only do you don't just have one color, you've got like 16 colors of these pens. So you can imagine in a science classroom for me, that's a super geek out moment because I can give my kids these pens to use when they're making all their pictures and their diagrams. And if they make a mistake, it's not the end of the world anymore. They can just generate some heat and cause that ink to erase and disappear.
Love that. And that leads us right into the challenge that's taking place as well, Phil, Million Degrees for Good challenge. Talk to our audience about that, if you don't mind, and how our audience can participate in it.
Yeah, so the FriXion for Good challenge is all based around trying to continue to make STEM opportunities accessible to everyone. So to that end, Pilot is partnering with Girls Who Code, and there's a couple of ways that you can participate in this. And then I'll show you a third way about how you can actually do some science on your own if you're curious as well. So the first way is if you go to Target or to Walmart and you look for Pilot FriXion color sticks and you buy a 10-pack, 25% of the profits, Pilot is going to give directly back to Girls Who Code, up to $50,000 total donation. Now, the other way that you can contribute, that you can participate, is by creating content involving a Pilot FriXion pen. So say that you found a pen, you bought a pen, it cost about $1 a piece, you do some cool experiments with it, and you make a little TikTok or you make an Instagram, and you post it on social media. Well, add the hashtag FriXion for Good. So that's FriXion for Good. Every in-feed post on Instagram or TikTok that has that FriXion for Good hashtag, Pilot's going to donate $5 to Girls Who Code, up to $60,000. So two easy ways that you can participate, all benefiting kids and their access to STEM education. Now, if you're curious yourself and you want to learn more about these experiments that I've been alluding to, you can also visit FriXionSTEM.com, where there's a series of lessons that have been developed with the curriculum experts at STEM.org. And there's some video content that I've created on there as well that kind of walks you through the experiments if it's been a while since you've been in a science classroom. FriXionSTEM.com is a great resource because you can get those lesson plans there, and you can also learn more about the Friction for Good Challenge.
Love that, and we'll make sure that we link those links up for our audience as well, Phil. Phil, last thing I want to ask you about, as I mentioned, people know you, not only, of course, because you are an educator yourself, a chemistry teacher, but also because of social media and the impact. And, I think, I follow you on Instagram. I know a lot of people follow you on other platforms as well. What do you want people to know about the importance of the way that you're able to use platforms like that? Because I think that's a great thing. Regardless of what people think about social media, you've been able to definitely use it in a way that is entertaining and informative. So what do you want adults to keep in mind when it comes to social media and the impact it can have in their kids' lives too?
I think that when you think about social media, there's often a lot of negative connotations, but that's all in how you use it. So for me, the approach that I take is I want to design content that makes someone more curious about the world around them, that gives them a little happy science nugget that they can take away and tell someone else, oh, did you know that this pen can do X, Y, or Z? Did you know that this will happen when you heat up the ink? All of those things are kind of takeaways that help you see your world and know more and understand more about it. And for me, that's how I approach social media. I always want whoever watches my content, I want you to learn something, and I want you to end up being more curious about the world around you as a result.
Well, you've definitely done that. Again, everyone, Phil Cook has been our guest, letting you guys know you can be a part of a great challenge, but also about the impact of STEM. Before you go, Phil, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
So once again, you want to go to FriXionSTEM.com to check out the lesson plans and learn more about the Friction for Good Challenge. And that challenge runs from today through November 8th, which is the National STEM Day. So please go to that website, FriXionSTEM.com, check it out. Get yourself a Friction pen and have some science in your life as well. All
right, Phil. Phil, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate you dropping back by.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Definitely, we appreciate our audience for tuning in as well. It's another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Then let's go make today amazing. Take care.